Welcome to Joe Stunner Boxing. Chris Eubank Jr., as was feared by many, including myself, misses weight for his contest with Conor Benn tomorrow evening. Tomorrow evening being the 26th of April, 2025. Now, Eubank initially scaled 160.2 pounds. That was the first attempt. The second attempt, he missed it by a smidgen, 160.05, I think, was the weight, the second weight, but he still missed it. Yeah, it's a fraction of a pound, but rules are rules. And as a result, Eubank will be fined $500,000, which translates as about £375,000. This, of course, comes on top of the 100 grand he got fined for the egg slap, as they're calling it, a few weeks ago against, when he slapped Conor Benn with an egg. So far, before he's thrown a punch, he is £475,000 down. Now, I know he's getting millions for this fight. He has to make 170 on the check weight. This was the rematch clause. In fact, if he fails that, he'll face a $1 million fine. Probably goes on top of what he's already lost. So Mr. Eubank is not doing too well, but just for the record, Conor Benn scaled in at 156.4. So not that much, not a great deal above the super welterweight limit, but he obviously made it with ease. His last two fights were around about 152, one and a bit, something like that. I think one of them was a lot close. I think they were both closer to the super welterweight limit than the welterweight limit. He's talked about after this fight going back down to welterweight to win a title, but I've got a feeling he might have settled into super welterweight now. 156.5. They've done it very scientifically. 156.4, excuse me. But of course, the emphasis. I did a preview of this fight. Many others have done previews, and you cannot ignore the weight factor. I've said this in my preview. It's a very difficult fight to predict. 3 years ago, when they were scheduled to fight, I was adamant that, very, very confident that Chris Eubank would win the fight. Now I picked Eubank to win on points. That was my prediction. It wasn't made with any confidence at all, really. But you have to bear in mind that 3 years on, Eubank is now 35. So past his best. He's been stopped in those 3 years. He got stopped by Liam Smith, who's really just a super welterweight, former WBO super welterweight champ. Yes, he looked okay in the rematch. He looked rakishly thin, skeletal, following his weigh-in for the Kamil Zerameta fight. 160 is just not his weight. And his father, of course, has been screaming blue murder about the weight issue. Yeah, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign for Eubank. And even though I'm not going to change my prediction, it wouldn't surprise me if the weight killed him and Conor Benn took advantage and beat him up and stopped him in the second half of the fight. I don't like changing my predictions, but I really don't know who's going to win. If Eubank has done the weight sensibly, and he's still not making 160, because you can do everything right, but just still not be able to make the weight. It's just, you might be dead at the weight, as they say. And pictures of him, Christ, he looks thin, doesn't he? He looks really thin. So, what do we say about this? Your guess is as good as mine. Is maybe Eubank's thinking, I'm going to get rid of this guy early while I've got a bit of energy. Maybe I'll try and make it a 4 or 5 round fight and stop Conor. 12 rounds, 36 minutes of fighting, especially when you consider that Benn is a very explosive fighter, fires a lot of punches, doesn't hit particularly hard. I don't know. It's very difficult, isn't it? But this is not a good sign. It's not a good sign at all, especially when you consider the £170. He's got to make second check weight. It's got to be one. He mustn't be over 170, or he gets fined $1 million. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about this? I've been worried about the Eubank weight from the word go. This time round, not so much 3 years ago, but this time round, because I've been 30 and I've been 35, and now I'm 57, and I understand how you naturally put on weight, and it's so difficult to shift. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Comments below. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'd appreciate that. Yeah, this fight is a lot more intriguing than I first thought it was. Certainly, I'm more intrigued by it now than I was 3 years ago. 100% more intrigued. I don't particularly have a horse in the race. I don't particularly care who wins. But number one, I want to see the right guy winning. So the one who deserves to win gets the decision or gets a legitimate, uncontroversial stoppage. And number two, I don't want to see anyone seriously injured. And Eubank, is he playing with fire here? We'll see. We'll see. They do have a rematch clause in place, of course. Let's not forget that. Anyway, I'm looking forward to reading what you've got to say. And yeah, thanks very much. Bye for now.